Yasodhanandana Gaja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namo Vishnu Padaya Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pashatya Dittatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Chaitanya Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की, श्री श्री प्रहलाद नरसिंह भगवान की, हिताय गौर सुंदर की, पतित पावन प्रभुपाद की, पतित पावन प्रभु महाराज की, गौर भक्तवृंद की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंद। Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya Bhagavati Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Nashtuti. Studying from Srimad Bhagavatam, canto number 4th, which is entitled as The Creation of the Fourth Order, chapter number 6, which is entitled as Brahma Satisfies Lord Shiva. Today's text is 1 to 4. मंत्रा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, पतित पावन प्रभुपाद की जय। मैत्रेय उवाच अत देवगणा सर्वे रुद्रानिकः पराजिताः शूलपतिश निस्त्रिंश गदा परिघ मुद्गरैः संचिन्न भिन्न सर्वांगाः सरत्विक सभ्या भयाकुला स्वयंभुवे नमस्कृत्य कास्नेयनैतं नैवेद्यम्। Translation: All the priests and other members of sacrificial assembly and all the demigods, having been defeated by the soldiers of Lord Shiva and injured by weapons like tridents and swords, approached Lord Brahma with great fear. After offering him obeisances, they began to speak in detail of all the events which had taken place. Once again, all the priests and other members of the sacrificial assembly and all the demigods, having been defeated by the soldiers of Lord Shiva and injured by weapons like trident and swords, approached Lord Brahma with great fear. After offering him obeisances, they began to speak in detail of all the events which had taken place. Upalabhya purai vaitat Bhagwan abcha sambhavah narayanascha viswatma na chayadvaram iyutaha. Both Lord Brahma and Vishnu had already known that such events could occur in the sacrificial arena of Daksha, and knowing beforehand, they did not go to the sacrifice. Purport: As stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.26, Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna. The Lord says, I know everything that has happened in the past and is going to happen in the future. Lord Vishnu is omniscient, and he therefore knew what would happen at Daksha's sacrificial arena. For this reason, neither Narayana nor Lord Brahma attended the great sacrifice performed by Daksha. This text 4. Tat akarnya vibhupraha tejiyasi pitagasi chemaya tatra sa bhuyan na prayena bhubhushatam. Tat akarnya vibhupraha tejiyasi pitagasi Chemaya tatra sa bhuyaya bhuyana na prayena bhubhushatam tad akarnya vibhupraha tejiyasi kritagasi chemaya tatra sa bhuyana na prayena bhubhushatam tad akarnya vibhupraha tejiyasi kritagasi chemaya tatra sa bhuyana Na prayena bubushatam. Tad akarnya vibupraha. Tejyasi kritagasi. Chemaya tatta sabhuyan. Na prayena bubushatam. Tad akarnya vibupraha. Tejyasi kritagasi. Chemaya tatta sabhuyan. Kayena bubushatam. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. When Lord Brahma heard everything from the demigods and the members who had attended the sacrifice, he replied, "You cannot be happy in executing a sacrifice if you blaspheme a great personalities and thereby offend his lotus feet. You cannot have happiness in that way." Once again, when Lord Brahma heard everything from the demigods and the members who had attended the sacrifice, he replied, "You cannot be happy in executing a sacrifice if you blaspheme a great personality and thereby offend his lotus feet. You cannot have happiness in that way." Purport. Lord Brahma explained to the demigods that although Daksha wanted to enjoy the results of fruitive sacrificial activities, it is not possible to enjoy when one offends a great personalities like Lord Shiva. It was good for Daksha to have died in the fight because if he had lived, he would have committed such offenses at the lotus feet of great personalities again and again. According to Manu's law, when a person commits murder, punishment is beneficial for him because if he is not killed, the might commit more and more murders and therefore be entangled in his future lives for having killed so many persons. Therefore, the king's punishment of murderer is appropriate. If those who are extremely offensive are killed by the grace of the Lord, that is good for them. In other words, Lord Brahma explained to the demigod that it was good for Daksha to have been killed. Om Tat Sat. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshunmritam Yena Tashmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkipatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Mishwaram. Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. So here we see that Sati wanted to go to her father's place where the great sacrifice is taking place because she wanted to convince her father about greatness of Lord Shiva. And when she was even warned by Lord Shiva himself that you are thinking that everything will happen positively, but there is a very less hope because Daksha is very, very envious of me. He will not see you as his daughter, he will see you as my wife. And things will not happen as you are thinking. But Sati had her own experience with her father. She was most pet daughter of Daksha, and she thought, no, this will be very easy for me to change the view of my father. And she went alone. Of course, she was followed by all the great followers of Lord Shiva. And what Lord Shiva said, same thing happened. She was not at all welcome. Even Daksha did not spoke a word to Sati, and because people were very much obliged to Daksha and they were fearful of him from his great power, prowess, and position, nobody came forward to welcome Sati, though she is the wife of the greatest demigod, Lord Shiva, Mahadev. but nobody out of fear came forward to welcome her or speak to her, except her mother and sisters, who came out of great feelings to welcome their sister and daughter. But Sati was not at all satisfied, because she thought, she could understand that uh, Daksha, her father, is not looking her in that uh, loving way. So she was greatly dissatisfied, and she spoke to Daksha in very angry mood, and she finally concluded that if I have to correct Daksha, then there's only one way, that I disconnect my relationship with him. And she thought that it is because he is so great offender, I should kill him. But it won't be a proper for daughter to kill the father. It will be out of etiquette. So out of great sheer depression, she just thought that I will disconnect by destroying my body. I disconnect my relationship with Daksha by destroying my body. And she, out of her mystic power, produces fire from inside, and she burns herself, her body inside that fire. And that's how Sati commits suicide. And this news goes to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, as soon as he hears this, he becomes extremely angry that this unfortunate incident took place, and because of Daksha, he is the reason. So he becomes very, very angry, and he plucks out one hair from his uh, mund and throws on the ground, and immediately a very fierce demon comes out of it. He's called Veerbhadra. Just by his glance, all the directions start shaking, and when he's walking, the whole place is uh, trembling. Very, very fearsome, very powerful, and powerful demons. And as soon as he is born, immediately he goes to Lord Shiva and walks towards Daksha sacrificial arena. And there he is followed by all the followers of Lord Shiva, and they completely destroys the whole sacrifices. And they whoever came in their way, they sufficiently punished them. Then Veerbhadra caught hold of Daksha, and he tried to kill Daksha. But to his surprise, he was not able to cut the throat of uh, Daksha, because it was so thick and so stiff. He was not able to cut his throat. Then immediately he sees that there is a chopper which was kept to sacrifice animals for the sacrifices which were taking place. And he took out of that one chopper, and with that chopper he tries, and then this time he was successfully able to behead Daksha. In this way, Daksha's head is separated from his body, and he was dead. And there are many other people who also were wounded. Their bodily parts were separated. Somebody's hand was cut off, somebody's feet was cut off, somebody's mustache was cut off. In this way, there were great chaos in the whole fire sacrifice. Everything was completely upside down by followers of Daksha and Veerbhadra. In this way, people who could escape were saved, and people who could not escape where actually they suffered. When all these things were said and done, all the devas, they understood, and all the brahmanas, they understood mistake from their side. They understood the great prowess of Lord Shiva, and they were very, very intelligent and conscious being, and they thought that by not speaking to Sati, and by participating in the sacrifice where Lord Shiva was not welcome, actually we also partook in the offense which was committed by Daksha Prajapati. So we are also part of it. Just because we did not spoke when something wrong is going on, we also become part of that wrong doing. So they all felt that since we have committed to Lord Shiva, who is also a great, not only greatest demigods, but also greatest Vaishnava. Vaishnava nam yatha sambhu. So we are doomed. There is no way for our further spiritual advancement. And they are all feeling depressed. They are feeling depressed also. They were punished, and they are also feeling depressed because they are still carrying the weight of the offense to Lord Shiva. And in this mood, they all went and approached Lord Brahma because there is no other way for them. Many of them, they went to rectify their personal situation. Daksha is Daksha is being killed. Such a great personality is being killed, and there are many other demigods whose bodily parts are separated. Now, how to rectify the situation? Also, they went for this. It's like when we meet with accident, what do? Whenever we, as soon as we meet with the accident, immediately things comes in our mind. We have to go to hospital to get cured. So I remember somebody told me one person met with accident and his one feet was cut off, and immediately carried his feet, was maybe from army or somewhere, just carried his feet on his shoulder, and he just got inside the auto and went to hospital, and there his whole leg was fixed. Recently, one devotee visited our temple. He was telling that his thumb was cut through a machine, and it was hanging. And immediately he collected that thumb, and then devotees took him to hospital, and it was joined there. So similarly, all these people who their uh, limbs were separated, they are also looking for the remedy. What to do now? The best thing they could do is to go to Lord Brahma and ask for the solution. What can be done to rectify all this? Both they physically they can be repaired, and then also spiritually, which they are carrying the offense of Lord Shiva, that should be also rectified. So they all went and approached Lord Brahma, and then Lord Brahma told that see, we all went there to fire sacrifices. We perform sacrifices to become happy. That is the goal, because we get the result of the sacrifice, prosperity, and because of that prosperity, we can enjoy and be happy. But if in that place great personalities are offended, then what is the hope of enjoyment? We are going to suffer more and more. Telling he exactly replied that you cannot be happy in executing a sacrifice if you blaspheme a great personalities and thereby offend his lotus feet. You cannot have happiness in that way. So if we offend a great devotee, we cannot be happy. It is mentioned that if we offend a great devotee and thereby offend his lotus feet, we cannot be happy. It is we see that in the case, in the incident of Durvasa Muni and Ambarish Maharaj. Durvasa Muni offended Ambarish Maharaj, and he has to struggle whole 1 year. And what kind of a struggle? He was just running. All the whole year he was running. He went to several places. All the chief devas he went. He went to Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma told it not possible for me. Sudarshan is, you please quickly leave this place, otherwise I'll also, I have to face also wrath of Sudarshan. Then he went to Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva also asked, like the same thing. Then he went to Vaikuntha and he met Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu said, I am controlled by my devotees. Actually, the Sudarshana is not controlled by me, it's controlled by my devotees. So if at all you want to be saved, you should go back to Ambarish Maharaj. Then he finally understood, and then he returned way back to Ambarish Maharaj. And there we see that Ambarish Maharaj forgave him. So It's mentioned that if we commit offenses to devotees, devotees may forgive, but dust of the devotees' lotus feet doesn't forgive. So when we are committing offense to devotees, actually there are many people get affected. It's not the own person. So even though we get freed from our offense, we pardon, but the other devotees who are also similarly felt, they may not relieve us. So one should be very, very careful not to commit offense. This mention that devotees are so powerful that just by their momentary association, one get all perfection in their life. This mentioned when we go to Ganges and we take several dips, then we are purified. But just by moment of devotees association, one gets perfection of life itself. So they are so powerful, and if we offend devotees, then our progress to spiritual life is completely checked. It's mentioned there that one can, if one offends the Lord himself, he is forgiven. If we sincerely chant the holy name of the Lord forgives him very easily. But if one commits the offense to a devotee, very difficult to be free from that offense. It says that the holy name of the Lord is so merciful. There is no rules and regulations for chanting the holy name of the Lord. But that holy name doesn't have, the effect of holy name does not take place fully if one offends the devotees of the Lord. There's 10 offenses we are chanting every day. One of the offenses to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their life of forgetting the holy name of the Lord. So one should be very, very careful. In this age, Kali Yuga, we have only one way to progress in spiritual life. Kale Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Yotegulam, Kalau Nastayo, Gatin. There's no other way, no other way, no other way than chanting of the holy name of the Lord, chanting of the holy name of the Lord, chanting of the holy name of the Lord. And that way also we block by offending a Vaishnava. Then be very, very careful not to commit Vaishnava offense. So we should know that how we should relate or respond with devotees. So that is the training to ourselves, our mind. So here we see that somehow or other the offense was committed by Daksha and all others who participated in the sacrifice. But it is mentioned here, Lord Vishnu and Lord Brahma, they did not go there. Why they did not go? Because they understood that Daksha is very offensive. And because of his offensive nature, something wrong will happen there. And it is not good when Lord Shiva is not invited there, should not go there. It's mentioned here, Prabhupada is writing that Lord Vishnu is omniscient, and therefore he knew that what would happen at Daksha's sacrificial arena. So Lord Vishnu is sitting in everyone's heart as Paramatma. Sarveshah Midhi Sanvishto Matta Smritir Jnanam Apohanam Cha. So Lord is sitting in everyone's heart as Paramatma, and he knows what living entity is thinking. He knows, he is omniscient. He knows past, present, and future. So he could know that these things will happen in Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani ki jai, Nitai Gaur Sundar ki jai, Nrsimha Bhagwan ki jai, Bhaktalal Maharaj ki jai, Tipan Prabhupada ki jai. So he knew well that this would happen, and he did not come there. He did not appear there. But how Brahma could know about these things? Brahmaji could know because of his experience. His experience is the oldest personality in this universe. So he could understand that this Daksha Prajapati earlier also he did the same great mistake and he has not changed. After that, he has become more and more offensive only towards Lord Shiva. And because of all this offense, he is not invited Lord Shiva. This is a big mistake, and there's something will happen there which will be very inauspicious. So he could good guess out of his experience and knowledge, and therefore he did not go. And Lord Vishnu did not go because he is omniscient. He understood that such incidents will take place, so better I don't go there. In this way, we see that both of them distrained by not participating in the sacrifices, but the devas, they were just followed that, oh, let's go and have the share of my sacrifice, my share of sacrifice. And in this way, they all were there, and somehow their intelligence also got polluted, and they became also victim of whole things. And then they went to Lord Brahma to rectify the situation. Then Lord Brahma warned them that this actually Daksha died. It was good. It was good for him because already earlier he committed offense to Lord Shiva, and then again he is committing offense to Lord Shiva, and in future also he will continue to commit offenses to lotus feet of Lord Shiva. In this way, he will commit more and more offense only. We chant more and more, then we advance more and more. And we commit offense more and more, then what will happen? We'll degrade ourselves more and more. So, somewhere the full stop should be put. Okay, we should not proceed in wrong direction. We are not going forward, at least we should not proceed in wrong direction. So it's better he was killed, so that by being killed, at least he will be purified, and he will be purified, or at least he will not commit the offenses further. See that a person, his Prabhupada is writing, a murderer, if he's not been punished, then he will commit more and more murder. He gets actually used to that. Initially, before doing murder, first time, people, their hand will shake. But after, when they have done this, they take it for granted, and then they become very expert. Serial killer. So as soon as person does mistake, if it is corrected, it's easier. And if he continues to do that, it becomes a habit. And then later, he even does not realize his mistake. So in earlier days, the kings will immediately punish. If somebody is doing wrong, he will be immediately chastised. So even in the there is a law that one should, if one is killing, he also should be similarly killed. At least the nature's law is like this. If we are killing some living entities, we will also incur the same pain which the living entity is going through. I've seen the picture in the book Laws of Nature. A person is actually killing the cow, and he is preparing himself next body as a cow to be killed. So it was these punishments were made for the benefit of people. If they are doing mistake, they are corrected so that they don't repeat the mistake. So here Lord Brahma is saying to demigods, it was good for Daksha to have been killed. So we should take a lesson that Daksha was okay, he was punished. But what about others? He was killed and saved. And what about all other people who took part? They were still carrying with the offense. They're carrying with the offense, and they're very much afraid of this. That we have done this mistake now. How to do what? How to rectify this? And they have gone to Lord Brahma. Hmm. Actually, they would have directly gone to Lord Shiva, because they did mistake to his lotus feet. So they should go and beg offense. They beg forgiveness from Lord Shiva. Actually, that is the proper way. If we commit an offense, if we want to rectify the situation, we have to go to a Vaishnava and fall at his feet, and beg forgiveness. That kindly forgive me out of the effects of more. I have done this great offense to you. Please forgive me. And Vaishnavas are very merciful, and they mostly forgive. But all the devas were very afraid of Lord Shiva, because in this case, his wife was actually he lost his wife, and he was in very angry mood. So they were very afraid that they may also meet. They also they also may need the similar punishment as Daksha if they just go there, because Lord Shiva is just in very straight edge punishing the Daksha. He just sent one pious follower, and he has killed Daksha. And if they go in front of him, they may also get the similar punishment. So they are very scared, and they did not go directly to Lord Shiva, and then they went to Brahma, and they went and asked Lord Brahma to help them. And we see that further as well, Lord Brahma will accompany them to Lord Shiva, and then they will find a completely different scene. Devas were expecting that he will be very angry and very disturbed, but when they go to Kailas, they're seeing the different appearance of Lord Shiva. They're seeing that Lord Shiva is very calm and very peaceful, and he is surrounded by all the great sages, including Sanak Sanatan, all the four Kumaras, then Narad Muni, all the great sages. They are just as they are just sitting around him, and Lord Shiva is explaining them about glories of Lord Krishna. He is explaining them about Srimad Bhagavatam, and a very very peaceful and serene atmosphere. And then they all approach to Lord Shiva. Lord Brahma approaches to Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva explains this, that I have given this correction to Lord Shiva for his to Daksha for his own benefit, and because of out of his because Lord Brahma requests him, then Lord Shiva again put back Daksha back to his life, and then he also repairs all those demigods who lost their limbs. In this way, the whole situation was rectified by Lord Shiva, and we have a great lesson from this incident, that we should be very very careful to commit an offense, both directly and indirectly. You should not just they may think that okay, we were not done anything wrong, but just by participating in that, they were also indirectly became part of that offense. So we should be very very careful not to commit offense, especially to great devotees. Mantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Patitpasta Prabhupada ki jai.